Hi, first giving honor to God, who's the head of our life. My name is Dr. Grimes, and I wanted to share with you what is on my mind recently. I was sitting yesterday and thinking about a few things. One thing is that we need to alert all of the restaurants, all of the nightclubs, all of the jazz clubs, all of the dance halls, and any place that they have music, band, live music, or music spun by a DJ or a VJ. The reason is something happened in several places: Rhode Island, Chicago, and Brazil. In those places, people were trapped. And I thought about we need to alert them while there is a halt in our society, except for God's movement and Christ's movement and the Holy Watchers movement and the saints that no man could number, who have returned and helping in this judgment that has been all over the earth for a very long time, really about 1,000 years after Christ's millennium, the judgment occurred. But you're looking at people that had lived since the beginning of time all the way to our time, and then including our time. So when we look at, is this a judgment? Is it the Lord? Is it God? Is he slowing? Is the earth ending? Or are we getting ready to be destroyed, the whole earth? You really need to look on a sensitive note to the book of Apocalypse, and it's also known as the book of Revelations. In that book, it states that we will experience a change. And the book of Enoch or Enoch. In that book, it also explains that we will go through a change. And in the change, people will still be people. You still be human, but you will have an angelic type or angelic type of presence because you've already finished your course. And you are now just the return. But some people won't experience funeralization, just like Enoch didn't. And I think it was Elijah, Elijah. I think Elisha, whoever was being trained, the one that was the trainee, he did not leave, but the trainer left, and he didn't experience a funeralization. There are others who leave and don't experience a funeralization. The 24 elders, we don't know if they did or they didn't. But what we do know from reading in the Apocalypse, also known as the book of Revelation, is that those 24 elders flanked Father's throne. 12 on one side of his throne, 12 on the other side of his throne, and he sat at the helm of his throne. And then after the Passion, Christ was to sit at the right hand of Father on the throne. Now, when I was in Church of God in Christ, I used to literally believe that God and Christ never got up off that throne, that they just sat and they conducted any judgments about the earth, temperature changes, any sudden involvement with us on earth. They just did it from that throne without any movement. And when I came out of that particular church, they didn't tell me that they didn't move, but just from reading it and listening to them preach, I just pictured it in my mind, them sitting there, and then it's just no movement, and just their thoughts conducted everything. And then I read it and reread it and read it and reread it over 40 years, and witnessing the people preaching, talking to people, and mostly for free. And I would share with them, every time I thought I learned something new, I would share with them, oh, and so and so, so and so. So in this, I wanted people to know that in those types of clubs, be mindful that, yes, God does judge us for our behavior. So if you mistreat a lady in the club, you mistreat a guy in the club, or a gal or a dude in the club, if you mistreat people, it will come back on you. And they do monitor everything that we do. And they've already monitored our whole walk. And it's up in books that we haven't seen yet. in his judgment and in his dwelling places. Because these other writers that are in the Bible, they tell us that they saw books, and the books were our daily accounts. So everything that we ever do, the what's up, hey now, all of that is recorded in his books. Plus what we really are thinking in our mind about any of it, those things are in his books. So when you go to those places, these are the things I want you to remember. See if you can encourage the owners to start a tutorial program on how to enter a club, a restaurant, and any place that has more than one entrance exit. You need to know all the entrances and all the exits if you're going to go there to have entertainment and to bring family, or just to go with your friends or co-workers, colleagues, or your boss. You need to know the exits and all entrances. The reason is, if anything should happen, if there is a shortage in wiring, and even in a new building you could have a shortage, and there's a sudden fire, instead of the moments when you could use to make wise decisions and escape, of course, in a safe way, you won't be panicking. And panic without knowledge usually leads to injury or death. So you need to know how to escape when you go into any of those places. Even if you go alone, you need to know. So encourage the owners to train people. You can have a kiosk, and the kiosk could have any of the information of how to do it. In doing that, you learn, and then you tell others about the kiosk that you can touch, and it'll show you the entrances and exits. I also thought that it would be good if people were not allowed to go in those places until they looked at the tutorial, because that reduces liability on the owners. And the owners want to be in business to make a profit. But if you're in business to make a profit and people who are patrons are not knowledgeable about how to move about your property, that brings liability on you. So it helps the owners too. It helps staff. So in those moments, people won't panic because they've already been through the tutorial and they've already signed off that I know how to enter your place of business. I know how to conduct myself when I come here, and I don't come unknowledgeable. I come for the purpose of why you're in business, and while I'm there, should something happen or an event by God, then it's time for you to remember what you learned in the tutorial and prayerfully escape. The other things that I was thinking about, which is totally different, when you're at home and you having a hot chocolate, you can bump that hot chocolate up. You can put some vanilla, about a cap of vanilla extract in your hot chocolate. You could also exchange that flavor sometimes and use strawberry, peppermint, orange, whatever you want your hot chocolate to taste like, without adding more powder to make it get to that level of excellence in your particular culinary diet. So remember to have a good tasting hot chocolate. Add the flavors, and the flavors one at a time. I wouldn't suggest mixing the flavors, but like I had a hot chocolate, I added some banana to it one day, and then I had the Coffee Mate peppermint mocha coffee mate, and I put some of that in there. Delicious. I have vanilla, I did that, delicious. And today I did strawberry, and it was delicious. And I'm like, oh my God, I should keep this for my business. And then I thought somebody could enjoy this, and it doesn't cost that much money. And if they already bake pies and cakes, they got these flavors in the kitchen somewhere, in the refrigerator or in the pantry. So I'm going to help by just giving that away for free. Have a blessed day. Bye.